Welcome back. You're listening to the Cindy Laverty Show. Thanks for joining me today. If you've missed the first part of the show, you can tune in on Saturday at 2 p.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. That's Pacific time right here at CRN Digital Talk Radio. And you can find me at crntalk.com/Cindy Laverty to find out who's coming up every week. So I'm grateful to have this blog, and you can also listen to past shows there. Matt Walker is my guest. Adventure in everything. And we're talking about how to live your life as an adventure. One of the things you say, Matt, is that we have to throw out the old story.
Yes. Throwing out the old story. So that's kind of what I was talking about earlier on about uncertain outcome.
Right.
So, oftentimes there's a unique human experience that occurs where we could have, let's say we have 10 outcomes. Mm-hmm. 5 are positive and 5 are negative.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, our brain will pick up on one of those 5, one set of those 5.
Yep.
So that the 11th time it occurs, we assume it's going to fit the 5, the 5 negatives or the 5 positives. And so throwing out the old story is also recognizing that there's other outcomes that can occur. And so if we look back on our lives, like we were talking about uncertain outcome and making shifts and changes, mm-hmm. that frequently our story, our experience in life is filled with two, the positive and the negative, and that we sometimes we have blinders on that there are other opportunities or that we've had experiences that point the other direction.
Right.
So I really support. There's some easy ways to start to change that narrative, change that story. And in my book, I prescribe a number of different journaling exercises and activities to start to highlight and shift that story.
Oh, you do talk a lot about journaling in the book. Why is journaling so important?
I think journaling is
I do it,
right.
For me, it's a lifesaver.
Yeah. Right, and I'll be the first to admit that journaling can be very difficult. There can be a lot of self-judgment around journaling, and then it's also tough to carve out time. But I think right now we're at a really unique time in that we use technology at such a quick pace that our mind is thinking so rapidly that we're not really digesting what's happening around us all the time.
Right.
And journaling is an opportunity to actually not only slow down, but to slow down our thought process. And because you can only write so fast, it forces us to slow it down to another level where we really have to consider and think and feel and just sit with those emotions and sit with those thoughts as opposed to jumping to another web page or jumping to another instant message or
right. And you just have to write without personal judgment also. I just participated in this huge telesummit called The Art of Love, and one of the things that I was discussing in my interview for this was caring for a spouse who's lost his job or is out of work. So how can losing your job be a good thing?
Well, my first thought there, it's kind of a forced reset button.
Yeah.
For you. But I think of it from two different perspectives. One, I think of it from the caregiving side, the spouse who supports the one who has lost the job. I think from that perspective. And then I also think about it from the individual who lost the job. From the spouse perspective, it's an opportunity to re-enter in the relationship with what I call, the beginner's mind.
Right.
And to meet that spouse as if you're meeting him for the first time.
Right.
Without that judgment, to listen and to be present. And that in itself is a high endeavor, to re-engage with relationship as if you're meeting them again and you're on that first, second, or third date again, even if you've been together for many years.
Mm-hmm.
So to honor who they are today, not necessarily who they were 15 years ago.
Right, and to not go to that fear place, because that's, for women, that's pretty much where women automatically go when a spouse loses a job.
Correct. Yeah. So to be able to be present to them, and reinforce from that place of support with that relationship.
Right. And the thing is that I believe personally that when you feel like you have nothing, everything is possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's that. It's funny you bring that up because I think of journaling again when I come back to that, because my initial reaction when I feel like I have nothing is this oh my God moment,
right?
And I get pretty scared. And journaling allows me to put that fear on the page, and then just let it be there, as opposed to having it in my head. And
right.
So with the journaling, I experienced this opportunity where you just get that information out of your head onto the page. You don't have to carry it with you. And when we talk about judgment around journaling, one of the beautiful things I think about journaling is actually not journaling in a traditional, leather-bound journal sort of thing, but actually kind of on a legal pad.
Uh-huh.
And then I take those pages and I shred them.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah. I don't go back and read them. There's no opportunity for someone else to read them. There's no judgment. It's just I put it down on the page and then I shred it. And that gives me the chance to just really get all this stuff out of my head and then move forward.
And set it free.
Set it free.
That's very interesting. I've never heard anybody say that before.
If I can put the journal market out of business, I'll do it in a heartbeat. Because I think there's so much cathartic opportunity in journaling, and yet we hold ourselves back by this sense of judgment that if I put it on the page, I write it down, that makes it concrete and permanent.
Yeah, I'm going to be buried with it. They're going to be reading it at my funeral.
Exactly. Yeah, and this is the garbage that's in your head. Like, it's not for everybody. So get it out and move forward.
Yeah, that's really interesting. What I want to ask you, and we might not have time for this big, long segment because Paul's going to hold this sign up for me right now. But when we come back from the break, Matt, I want to talk about the family caregiver. And, we've got so many people in this country who are caring for a loved one or an aging grandparent or parent. And I think it's really hard for them to find adventure in that, although I believe it can be a huge adventure. So can we talk about that when we come back?
Perfect.
All right. Stay with us. You're listening to the Cindy Laverty Show. I'll be right back.